Welcome to Junk Journal Snacks. Shall we unleash the beast? And I say that in the most loving way. There she is. I'm continuing on my mission to fill this journal. So I'm going through it, looking where my first page is, where I need to add something. So that would be this one right here. So let me grab a journal to put underneath so that I can work in this beast. Actually, I need to move this aside. Maybe you've seen in one of my vlogs where I set up my new craft room, I had put some projects that still need a home in this beautiful wooden drawer. And I want to use these. So I thought a Junk Journal Snacks video is a good opportunity to do that. So let me find something that I could maybe add to this page without adding a huge amount of bulk. How about this tuck spot here made out of a book page? So all this is a book page folded over. Then I used a punch to create this half circle. And then I added a cluster on top and sewed everything down. So now we have actually a double tuck spot. But given that my journal is so bulky, I will only use this front tuck spot. So I could add this right here. Of course, this is super boring. So let's do something about that. Seeing this butterfly right here reminded me that I have this beautiful Tim Holtz tissue paper that I received from Debbie. So this is the information in case you want to look for this yourself. It's absolutely gorgeous. And so I thought I could just put this down. But now I'm realizing once I put this over that, you won't even see the butterfly. But that's okay. I actually still like this script and the music here that will provide a beautiful background. And I just realized that there's two half butterflies here as well. So this will be perfect together with this. So I'll trim down the height. I'm going to adhere it with my Liquitex matte gel. And since I want this to stand out a little bit more against this background, I'm going to apply some white gesso on top here. And I want to add some more interest here on the side. And I thought I would try using these stencils, which I have been gifted. It's a set of letters. And they are by the company Westcott Lettercraft, or I guess the company is just called Westcott. Their website is www.westcottbrand.com, which I will link for you in the description box. And I thought what might fit here is the letters VIE, which is the code for the airport in Vienna. So if you want to fly to or from Vienna and you're looking for that destination, when you try to book a flight, you always type in VIE. I do that a lot because of my hubby flying back and forth. And I always look for flights for him. So that's why I want to try that. So instead of spraying through these, I'm going to try tracing these either with water-soluble crayons or with water-soluble colored pencils. Actually, what I think would make more sense, if I really think about it, is to first trace the letters with a pencil and then just to color them in. That should be a lot easier. And I've now decided I'm going to use some acrylic ink. This is by Amsterdam and it's called Sky Blue Light number 551. It's a beautiful light blue. I'm trying this one for the first time. Next, I want to go around it with my black water-soluble colored pencil and then take my paintbrush and make a shadow. And now I want to fade these lines out by going over it with my water brush. The gesso plays a really big part here because if I wouldn't have done that, the color wouldn't have moved as well. I still think these letters look a bit plain, so I want to add some crackling stamp onto the letters. And I'm using this stamp from Crafty Individuals, which I will link for you below in the description box. And I'm going to use my jet black archival ink. And I'm going to take my stencil again, place it over the letter, and then add the crackling over that. I am quite happy with that result. Now they look more interesting, right? Now I'm ready to glue this tuck spot down. And I want this blue here on the background of my stamp to be the same blue as here, so I'm going to simply color that. And then I want to add something to this tuck spot, and I thought I would use one of my newer printables. So this is Viennese Vintage Fashion Black and White, and there's 4 pages. So you can find these linked below as well. I'm guessing from the fashion, this is like 1940s, late 40s, looks like. So there's 3 pages with images in this larger size. There's the 3rd one, and then on the 4th page, you have all 12 designs in small as well. I think these make really cute cards to add to journals. And for my particular page, I think a really good option would be this one, because you see here, she's obviously traveling somewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and cut her out. My friend Bea and I found these images at the flea market here in Vienna when she was here to visit. And all of these images were large. They were, I think, larger than A4, which were too large for me to use in journals. So Bea kept the originals and she let me take photos so that I could add them to my shop. And since this image is quite gray, especially compared to this tuck spot, I want to go over it with my tea dye distress ink and a brush. So I think that fits better together with this tuck spot now. And I also decided I'm going to color her coat in the same blue as here and here. I'm going to back this print with a white cardstock, onto which I'm going to add this leftover piece of the Tim Holtz tissue paper. So I'm first going to adhere this. Again, I'm going to use my Liquitex matte gel. Mod Podge would work for this obviously as well. So I'm going to cut this piece out. Then I'll go around the edges with my tea dye as well. Then I'll take Vintage Photo, which is of course darker, and one of these sponges and go around the edges to define those more. Let's do that on the back side as well. Don't want that looking naked. Then I'm going to stick this image onto that cardstock. And I love that by coincidence we have the plan here, because obviously you have to plan to travel. I really like that. I took this to my sewing machine and went around the image once and then around the outer edge once with a running stitch with some chocolate brown thread. And I also remembered I have some vintage Port Avion labels, and I think this one would go well, and add a pop of color right in the middle here. And now I can journal on the back about my hubby flying back and forth so much. And that can then just go in there. I really appreciate you joining me for this journaling session. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah.